now hand over to Noah that will be talking about a very important technology platform that was recently hacked on at TADHack TNID. Noah, over to you.
Well, thank you, Alan. Great show as usual. Love hearing all the innovators. Love seeing the hacks that came out of that first event. Looking forward to a few more coming out in this second little swing at it.
Yep.
And love seeing the ability for identity to solve the everyday problems. It's amazing that everywhere we turn right now seems to be an identity problem if you look at it.
Yep.
Whether
Everywhere.
Yeah, I was getting text messages from campaign headquarters or something asking my now ex-wife to come down and man the phones. And I'm like, well, I've had this phone for quite a while, so your data's wrong,
Yeah.
right? If anything, that just means you're not understanding the identity you're trying to communicate with. And it's been so much noise out there that as we start to understand what TNID is trying to solve, it really comes into just trying to solve for the everyday problems of identity. And that includes for developers, how can they make a faster, more efficient application without all this hair of compliancy and PII and can't they just play in the playground instead of having to play in the law library,
Yeah.
compliancy library? So one of the
Yeah.
most recent uses to show that it's become very noisy is seeing all the compliance of terms of service in the messaging industry and in voice and in email, and now with click to cancel,
Yeah.
that was just pasted on I think the Wall Street Journal or the Washington Post had on the front page the other day saying that you have to now make it as easy to cancel subscriptions as you make it to sign up.
Absolutely.
No more diverting to phone and getting
Yeah.
an endless tree that phone tree that leaves you more than frustrated. I'm sure you've seen some of those YouTubers out there that they're like screaming at the phone. you know,
And you think that'll work?
Actually, it will not work unless you can actually hold identity accountable. Hence why it's perfect timing for where we're looking to be on the ice, and we're waiting for the puck as opposed to even uh, chasing the puck.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
go ahead of it that we're already starting to apply things without people even taking over their identity. It's really interesting how that works is just to manage identity. So we thought that, it would be a simple task for each person to manage, but it turns out we're still stuck in the lazy mode. So a lot of the businesses out there that are trying to support, consent and any kind of identity tied to compliance has been really difficult and a real challenge, especially with things changing so quickly. I mean, how many people have webmasters that could change on the fly terms of service? And think of a major corporation changing even a period, like how many spaces there are in a legal document,
Yeah.
because legal also has to deal with it, and auditing and Sarbanes-Oxley if it's a public company. So you have all this hair around these things. So we're noticing the separation between identity, where it used to be in-house, basically. You'd manage your clients, you'd manage
Yeah.
yourself in the sense through your business, and now it's completely changing. It's that we keep managing our own little pieces more and more because the failures have shown us that we're kind of the only ones we can trust, right? Like how many places have not been hacked is more the
Yeah.
is a harder answer nowadays than coming.
Nowhere. And the answer is nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so how do
Nowhere.
if you know that data can be compromised, it really comes into the defense of yourself and your identity. And you see all these plays on identity, whether it's the Norton antivirus or LifeLock companies, or the True Callers that rolled up, and then all these different
Yeah.
companies. And they're all chasing this one little piece of identity for themselves, not realizing that train has left the station, that consumers don't want you to manage. They don't want you to drive the train anymore.
Yeah.
They'll rather take the bike to work. So how do you facilitate giving them a bike and making it still as efficient? So our goal is to make everything passwordless, everything tied to your identity, even stakeholder, meaning people that should have a say at your reputation.
Yep. Absolutely.
Game changing, game changing. Such a pleasure to see when we started with you in the podcast to where you've come full circle to this now, deploying. It's really exciting.
Well, now it's really truly it's become this amalgamation between your social world in digital and your social business world. And instead of us spending so much time on third-party platforms, it's almost like paying rent. You get somewhere to go, but you're not building anything. You're not building equity toward anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're just throwing it away. And data, if you're having someone else house it, social media wise, whether it's LinkedIn's or the Facebooks or any of them, really, you are the product. So it's time to understand what that really means. And we start to expose it in your profile, like, oh my gosh, every single one of these fields I can toggle and not share.
Yep. And scammers are using Facebook to basically, target particular groups of people, given the information that they've shared on Facebook. It's a terrible situation, and they are exceptionally smart, innovative people that understand in a particular group of people what are emotional issues that they can target into, and then, when they find, well, their identity is shared on there. So all they need now is to fire an email or something, to reach out, and then stupid people share so that they get connected via voice. And voice is the most powerful way to take money directly from people. But anyway, I'll avoid going on my rant about that.
No, it's perfect. And this is where we start to, okay, so here you're pointing out the next segue, which is, okay, so there's identity, and then there's how do you know what's going on, and how can you work together with your community, your other stakeholders, to kind of suss that out and protect each other. Isn't that what community is all about?
Yes.
And that's where we started to evolve the consumer reporting capabilities.
Yeah.
So one of the APIs that you saw released was spam reporting into the identity into the identity system, meaning that the more people that start to connect different application layers that want to report things, we could start putting that data to work for you. Yeah. And that means protecting you and the family group that you create in your identity. See, that's the difference, right?
Yes.
It's the application layer that lets you do things with your identity, and us that we just want to keep creating an experience of different elements of identity that you can just pick like a toy box and build from with these wonderful application layers. One of which we're underway right now, and we're going to get you we'll get you a legacy reporting number for your viewers, which is going to be surrounded with anything that they see as a bad behavior across any channel, whether it's Telegram or Facebook or WhatsApp or RCS or iMessage or.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I just mentioned a whole bunch there, but there's only one that I didn't mention, and it's the only one that's regulated, and that's SMS. So, and what I mean by regulated is at least it carries the rules with it for TCPA to protect the consumer. All the other ones you could report until your thumbs turn purple. Nothing will happen. So we created a way where all you have to do is take a simple screenshot. I think everybody knows how to do it. and forward that screenshot to a contact we'll give to you. So basically, to your viewers, and we'll have you put this link in later, you'll be able to click and add a file, a virtual card to their phones. And it will say whatever you want it to say, Alan, that Alan's, Tad Hack spam reporting. It could be whatever it is.
Exactly.
And what they'll do is very simple instructions. They'll take a snapshot of the bad behavior, a screenshot. They'll forward it through the forward button to the contact that will give the virtual card for, and then put a note in as to what you may think it is. Is it a political scam? Is it a scam at all? Is it a political message you didn't want? Is it a financial fraud? Is it phishing, do you think? All of this data is not being captured by any of the tools that are out there today. Even this legacy approach, no one is asking the consumer for more than using a cinder block covered hand and saying, oh, the evidence of that bad behavior, that violation of your rights, can you just take that cinder block hand and smash that piece of evidence to bits? Can you make it go away so that we'll send you more from different numbers, but we need you to erase all the evidence? I still find that very interesting that we do that. We use our phones to take what we consider the most impactful videos ever that have changed our society as we know it, with bad behavior and good behavior. But yet we destroy evidence whimsically. What we're going to be doing is first giving you the ability to just take a screenshot and send it in and actually get some reporting. So we'll invite people to create their identity, and then we can send them some simple but valuable reporting, because coming from telecom, our job is to start showing where money is being made. It's up to the public to do something about it.
You do realize that all of our listeners are making millions and millions of dollars off spam. Of course, as you know that, so they're not really too happy about this.
We're not giving the way to their demise. We're giving the way to their success. We're giving them the tools to communicate better with their consumers in a compliant way, which doesn't exist today. Compliant,
penny for spam. Taking revenue away. They're swimming in spam.
So 5 cents if it's get out the vote.
Yeah, no, look, Noah, it's so important what you're doing. So critical. I can't wait for the masses to get their hands on this. It's going to go viral and exciting. So I'm enjoying people watching and listening and hearing what you're doing, because we've been touting you and touting TNID and touting your brilliance now for a year. We've had so many podcasts with you, some where me and you were fighting a little bit. So nobody's more happy. Our whole mission here, since we started, Alan's mission, is to really help the people. At the end of the day, I've come to one conclusion. It's not the operators or the companies that are doing it. It's the lawyers that are protecting the brands. So one lesson that I've learned just recently, it's whether if it's an operator or a company sending spam, they'll never admit it or even try to solve it, because the minute they do that, they open themselves up to liability. So it's really just a land of lawyers that are protecting the brand and exposing the consumer. And what you've built is game changing. It's needed. And I couldn't be more happier and proud of you and at Summit. And hopefully we help play a role in getting it out there. So.
Well, we hope that we all join in and start to realize that we have to participate in change, or change will never come. You can sit there on the couch, which, by the way, one of the things I want to tackle, which I'll explain to one of the use cases later today. There hasn't been an update in individual polling in decades and decades and decades and decades.
Well, I had this conversation with Bill Peters, the famous Bill Peters. I'm like, have you ever been called? Who's been called? Who? I don't even know anybody who's been called. Polling is the biggest scam. Like there's never been a TV show where they're like, here's the polling station, like here's the sweatshop, here's what's going on.
Why not do it
Here's
with
the
your family and
biggest scam.
friends, Johnny? See, there's the
It's a
thing that's
scam.
missing.
It's a
They're
scam. The
they're
whole
going out.
polling is a scam.
This is that centralized out to in thing, right?
Yeah.
And now it's going to be in to out. Now it's going to be us. What if I sat there and I texted everybody in the friendship circle and I said, "Hey, I just want to do a quick poll, but I could do it really, really quick. I
So
could share it
powerful.
with you."
So
Then,
powerful.
then I could share that to a public space without even caring. And then if it gets picked up by a other community, maybe the news community, now they have real data, real identities tied to it, and it's anonymized. So they get real polling data from real people under a zero knowledge base, meaning that they're real. They may even enter their voter registration, whatever they want in their identity profile to prove themselves.
Yep.
But these are the use cases. Just by adding more and more data and more metadata
By being able to secure the identity, you're giving real information, way more than polling, and that's going to be game changing. Except, I'm not sure how many of these polling companies are going to be. They're not going to be too happy with you. Gallup and Marist.
Click the link and call.
Marist polls. You ever go to Marist? It's like 10 below up there. Who's over? Like, what are they doing? Who are they calling? Who are these people? Who are these undecideds? At the end of the day, like, who are these people that are like? It's just
Wouldn't
amazing.
that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool to actually see a statistic? Wouldn't that be cool to see a graph and know that the graph is actually the truth? Imagine that there's no bots. There wouldn't be a bot if you have to have a voter registration. You have this process that you go through.
Oh, we're definitely getting blocked. Alan's already sweating. You said politics, registration. Alan's, he's already starting
Well,
to
it's
cry.
a new
YouTube.
technology. It's
No, it doesn't matter. We're already blocked on YouTube, blocked here. We got blocked.
Well, we're here to help
Post.
everyone. We're here to help all of us.
The
So
world of
all have our voice.
censorship. Welcome to the world of censorship.
But thank you again. I really appreciate the commitment to innovation. Without a commitment to innovation, there is no innovation.
Exactly.
We'd still be.
Alan Quayle, the beacon of truth. No, he is. He's the only real deal in the industry.
We need to give him a head wrap, like a virtual crown, and have it like Alistair from like the Disney movies with the flaming purple hair. That would be amazing.
It's funny. I got a couple of messages today on my crazy posts and stuff, and people that don't like and see our stuff. We hear the audience reaching out saying, "Why aren't you posting? We missed your posts or this or that." So there are good people in this industry. There are good people listening, but obviously getting around the lawyers, because it's not the mobile operators. It's not Twilio makes money on spam, et cetera, et cetera. Are they going to admit it? Never. But it's the lawyers. This is a country full of lawyers. And then what a lawyer does is after they're done being a lawyer, then they put on a robe, and then you got to go into a courtroom and you got to bow to them. So the whole system is screwed up with lawyers, and your product is so important for people, for parents of kids. I'll have an off-color conversation with you on this company that I found that does pedo alerts, that alerts parents on kids being notified by pedophiles. It just blew my mind that nobody's helping them with. They got to do it stealth, because pedophiles have rights. I don't know if you know that. It's amazing. I don't mean to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. I'll just edit that space out.
Nobody's more, it shouldn't be, because it's the truth. Need to talk about it. Nobody's more excited and proud of you than me and Alan Quayle and what you're doing. And can't
Wait
wait
until the app. The app
reason why a lot
soon.
of people aren't hacking on you is you're too complex. Pecan's like really simple.
Very
complex.
My head's in the sand right now. My head's completely in the sand, and I'm completely focused on solving problems at this point, and I'm not listening to the pounding of the rain hitting the ground.
Change the world, buddy. Okay. Change the world. We've been saying it for just remember us when.
But again, thank you for sponsoring.
Jam Bones. He forgot about us.
But thank you for sponsoring both TADHack and TAD Summit. And the key is, this was the year your technology got put into independent developers' hands, and they started using it. So what did they first? One of the applications was immediately into spam reporting. It just intuitively, that's where they saw an important role that can play. Other was in sort of more closed user groups, enabling them to securely share important information. So again, developers are seeing it, they're doing those applications. The more, and it's a comfort level thing, because I think with what happened with VCon is a lot of developers had seen it for quite a few years, and then all of a sudden they have that aha moment. So, like the hack, the temple at the shrine of computing, where, it's an application that you would never think of VCon, but it was so funny and real in that you have your experience, and then at any time, in the future, you just take your coin with NFC, you just put it to your phone, and you can relive that experience. And that's the weird type of crap that then takes it to a completely different plane. So I think,
Absolutely.
it's getting it and getting more developers accustomed, making it easy for them to use. And then in time, the brain, you know how it is, they've had enough sleep thinking about this, and then it all gets smashed up in a whole bunch of weird and wonderful ways. So, but for me personally, the thing that I think what you're doing is scammers are targeting individuals that are vulnerable, and they're targeting them multiple times in a year. And in a lot of those cases, they need family support.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we put groups. Like the hackathon is not even touching all the elements, right?
Exactly.
Groups that you
No.
create so that you can protect, well, there's family, there's friends, there's coworkers, there's
Exactly.
even, we had to add, even in companies, we had to add external admins
Yes.
so people could be in roles that weren't necessarily employees within the organization.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
organizational identity, internal, external,
Yeah.
all these layers to it.
Yeah.
And then you can create, like I said, groups, which I think groups is fantastic
Yeah.
because that's where Text Protect and Family Protect will help both
Exactly.
businesses protect their assets and families protect their assets.
Exactly. Because I mean, every family's different,
Mhm.
but there is a general care. It's just the way biology works.
Mhm.
And I see it within sort of my extended family. Like, because one individual will be targeted multiple times, they get targeted by a scam that used Facebook data, and then they get targeted again with an attempted romance scam. It's again because of the power of voice. It make people believe the most ridiculous shit.
And imagine, but just imagine if you could bring this back to, just a quick, is this real or not? Who
Yes.
do you even ask today? Who do you ask?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't that be cool if on just a swipe, like we're going to show you within the app, like the app is almost going to be invisible.
Yeah.
It's going to be super fun level of
Yeah.
reporting,
Yeah.
but it's going to give you the trust that you need. I mean, I
Exactly.
did tell you we bought the telephone company, so this is going to be the
Yep.
first distributed telephone company on the planet. Nobody's ever thought of that.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, commoditized. Johnny, you've been in telco a bit.
Yeah.
Alan, you've been in it a bit, and I see it just erased to zero, right? In the
Yep.
sense of telecom cost.
100%.
So, why not just break it down to nothing and say, wait a second, this is more of a utility for us now. Why are we paying all this middleman stuff when the cost of a number, like when you have Bird on here, cost of a number is really free,
Yeah.
Yep.
and then there's usage on it and stuff, but you're just paying regulatory. So why not distribute that cost amongst everyone who has a phone number within TNID? And now they have a phone number that won't be moved.
Yep.
They can be trusting that phone number, and we're going to do a lot to have
Powerful.
people
So,
really
so
understand
powerful.
how to use
So
that.
powerful. So
Cool.
powerful. And one more thing. Where do you get all these wonderful shirts? Can you get a shirt like that over to Alan so I can have like a happy session with these dark colors? Like I feel like I'm going to the morgue. Can you put like TNID on that shirt? Because I know is one of the best dressed guys going. He's known as that. I mean, I saw him one time at an event. I'm like, who is this? It's like a rock star, but that shirt is killer. But if I could see that on Alan Quayle, can I do like a a deep fake AI and put that shirt on Alan?
You know
I gotta
what?
see it.
If we could do that, we could just swap clothes all day. Now there's your next concept, right, Johnny?
But with
Yeah.
your
You know,
platform, I'll just swipe right. Is it real?
yeah,
No.
and I'll just use. I want to use a Gucci bag and this and blah just for this video call, right? So I'm gonna dress up with whatever outfit it is, a Prada with these big glasses, like
Yeah, no, I'm going to take that shirt and put Alan Quayle Tat Summit, and I'm going to wear it on every podcast so everybody knows that's our theme shirt. If he won't wear it, I will.
Oh,
anyway. But
dear.
thank you so much. We really
What a pleasure.
appreciate and keep it up, guys. We really like innovation, so let's disrupt.
You're the
Absolutely.
king.
Absolutely. Take care. Thanks again.
Bye bye.